They all shared one common thing. They were all bus drivers, and they all had seen the same man board their bus at midnight. But when they checked the security footage from that night, it showed there was no one else on the bus. Welcome back, I'm here. And today we're going to be looking at the final bus passenger, the one who never gets off. Let's get into it. Number 5, bus drivers. At first, it started as an urban legend whispered among the staff at the transit company. A lone male passenger boarded the bus at exactly midnight, and every driver who picked him up saw the same thing. He was always wearing the same clothes, a black leather trench coat with the collar turned up, a wide-brimmed hat pulled low over his eyes, and a pair of dark gloves that covered his wrists. He never paid for his ride with cash, or a transfer, or even a credit card. Instead, he pulled out an old gold pocket watch, wound it slowly, and tapped the driver with it 3 times before sitting in the very last seat on the right side of the bus. Then he would remain there, motionless throughout the entire journey, until the bus reached its final destination, at which point he would stand up, step off the bus, and disappear into the darkness without paying or saying a word. None of the drivers thought much of it at first. After all, it's not unusual for people to ride buses alone late at night. But it soon became apparent that something wasn't quite right. It was always the same man, always dressed the same, always paying with the same pocket watch, and always getting off at the same spot. Plus, the fact that he never said a word or acknowledged anyone on board was starting to freak them out. So they started taking turns checking the security footage from each bus run, only to find that every time this mysterious passenger got on the bus, there was no record of him doing so. There were no images of him entering the bus on the CCTV cameras, or any trace of him on any of the fare payment terminals. And yet every driver who took that midnight shift swore they had seen the same man board their bus and sit in the last seat, even though the footage showed that they were driving a completely empty bus route 666. Number 4, ghost passenger. What do you think? Is the last passenger a ghost? You decide in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you won't miss any new videos. Number 3, bus ghost. It's unsettling to imagine the eerie sight of an empty bus seat suddenly filling up with a ghostly apparition. Yet that's precisely what bus driver Michael witnessed one fateful night while driving the N9 bus route. He and his passengers were accustomed to the late-night emptiness of the route, which ran through a less populated part of town. However, around midnight, just as the bus approached the terminus, Michael saw a figure materialize out of thin air and take a seat directly behind him, though he didn't need to turn around to know who it was. Within minutes, the disembodied voice of the phantom passenger rang out, startling Michael and the few remaining passengers. "Is this the terminus?" he asked, his voice echoing unnaturally. Michael responded, taken aback by the apparition's sudden appearance and ghostly demeanor. "Yes, sir," he replied cautiously. As the bus came to a stop and the other passengers prepared to get off, the ghost stood up, turned towards the now open doors and stepped out onto the pavement without a sound. Astonished by what he had just experienced, Michael watched as the ghost walked away, disappearing from sight. Number 2, scary true. Imagine the shock and disbelief of discovering you are not alone in an otherwise empty bus when suddenly a figure materializes out of nowhere in the seat beside you. That's exactly what happened to one Reddit user who shared their eerie experience online. They were on the 79 bus in London when they noticed a man who appeared to have materialized out of thin air. They describe him as white, mid-30s, average height and build, wearing a grey hoodie, black jogging bottoms, and black trainers. The man sat down next to the user without acknowledging their presence and pulled out a phone to start scrolling through it. The user couldn't help but stare at the man in disbelief, wondering how they had missed him when he boarded the bus. Just as they were about to confront the man, he stood up and headed toward the exit. As he walked past the user, they caught a glimpse of his face, which was pale and emotionless like that of a zombie. The user rushed to the front of the bus to get off, but when they looked back, the man was gone. When they checked the CCTV footage, it showed that the man had indeed boarded the bus, but there was no record of him getting off. The user was left shaken by the encounter and couldn't help but wonder, where did he go? Number 1, urban horror. Now let's hear another story of a chilling encounter on public transportation. This time it's on the subway. The year was 2013 and the place was New York City. A young woman named Anna was riding the subway home after a long day at work. She had been traveling all day and was exhausted. All she wanted to do was get home and relax. However, fate had other plans for her. When Anna got on the train, she noticed a strange man sitting across from her. The man was tall and thin with a long white beard. He was dressed in a long black coat and a black top hat. Anna couldn't help but stare at him because he looked like he had just stepped out of a horror movie. To make matters worse, the man seemed to be staring at her as well. Anna tried to ignore him and focus on her phone, but the man's intense gaze made it impossible. Suddenly the train screeched to a halt and the doors opened. Anna's heart skipped a beat as the man stood up and walked towards her. Before she could react, he was standing right in front of her, his face inches away from hers. "Get off with me," he rasped in a voice that sounded like nails on a chalkboard. Anna screamed and stumbled backwards as the man lunged towards her. The doors closed just in time, saving her from his grasp. As the train pulled away from the station, Anna looked back to see the man standing on the platform, his face contorted in rage. Anna never forgot that terrifying encounter. The memory of the man's piercing stare and blood-curdling voice haunted her for years to come. What do you think? Are these stories true, or just scary tales meant to give us nightmares? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more videos like this one, check out some of my others. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe and keep an eye out for any unexpected passengers on your next trip on public transportation. You never know when you might encounter a ghost